live on Facebook. And man, I'm so glad that you're with us today. I'm going to introduce you in just a second. We'll let a bunch of people just kind of jump on, and I'm going to share it on my Facebook real quick here. Let's see what I can do.
The same thing. Oh yeah, I got it.
Did you?
Yeah, it's live.
Awesome. So let's see, we'll give it just a few more seconds. And awesome. Well, hey, for everybody joining us, welcome to Pastor's Corner. And I do this every week at noon. And I have, just the incredible pleasure of being joined today from the UK. What do they call it? Beyond the pond, or across the pond?
Across the pond.
Yeah. And with Pastor Matthew Murray. And man, we are just so excited to have you here. Man, I would love, just introduce yourself. Tell us about kind of what you guys got going on. You're a pastor. Tell us about your church and just your missions organization. Just give us the whole thing, just so we know who you are.
I guess I do three things mainly in my life. Okay, so I'm a husband to Becky and a father to Josiah. We just have one child. He's 8 years old. So that's the first thing I do. Secondly, I'm a pastor of Renewed Church in a little town named Uttoxeter, which is about 2 hours from London, 1 hour from Manchester in the UK, right in the middle of the UK. And then thirdly, my wife and I, we lead a missions organization named One by One. And we have orphanages, schools, we work with the vulnerable, with trafficking victims, we work with child slaves and help them get out of slavery. We help work with widows in Sri Lanka. So we got projects all across the world, and we run that out of the UK, and we've also got an office in Louisiana. So God has really expanded that to be a missions organization across the world. But like everyone else right now, Aaron, we are on lockdown. So we're not doing much in terms of our traveling, but trust me, we're still working for the Lord.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know we met, I think what was a few years ago at a pastor's conference. And I remember you and I met, and our wives met, and we met. I remember we were sitting in a lobby of a hotel, and we were talking with Pastor Cleddy Keith, right? He was there. And we were just chatting and just kind of telling stories. And man, our hearts just got knitted to yours and Becky's. And you guys got to come down last summer, and we got to visit San Antonio. And you love the food. I always tell people our goal, my wife and I's goal, is to get people like full when they come here. Like,
well, the good thing about you, Pastor Aaron, is you're a foodie. You know.
Yes.
So I'm also a foodie. So I think that's why our spirits connected so well. Because, I'm finishing lunch and I'm thinking, right, what's the next meal? So we kind of plan our lives around meals, right? So that's
I like that.
We connected so well.
Yes. And it was a good time. We enjoyed each other. And I know we were planning on having you come out in the summer this time, but man, with this coronavirus, it's kind of thrown everything off.
Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, it's just crazy times. No one's ever been here before. No one knows what's going to happen. These are like absolutely crazy times all over the world. So hopefully I'll see you this year, but I don't want to book the flight just yet because you never quite know.
That's no doubt, man. I think we're going to find out very quick. And so, man, so here, I want to ask you just some few questions if in just the time that you have. I think you said it's evening time there. And so we're just so happy that you came on. And the point of this really for me is honestly, it's for our church. We really do it just from a leadership standpoint. That's really kind of the first thing, is just getting people to elevate their leadership, elevate their thinking. That was kind of the original thought. So me and Pastor Jason talk a lot. We deep dive sermons. We've been in the middle of a series called Heroic Faith, and just how we need faith right now to get through this season. What are you teaching your church? What are you sharing with your church? How are you leading your church in this crisis?
I think we're leading with the same message like everyone's saying. It's got to be faith over fear. We can't be given to fear in this time, so we got to have faith. And I think there's something powerful in the book of First Peter. The author Peter talks about how genuine faith arises during trials. And that's what I've been teaching our people, that this is actually going to prove who has genuine faith.
Wow.
And I think some people sad to say, they may not make it out of this time. I don't mean physically, but spiritually, if you just been a casual Christian, showing up once a month, putting a few dollars in the offering, and then just leaving and not connecting and not becoming part of spiritual family, not being part of small groups, just
Wow.
being a casual Christian.
Yeah.
Maybe that faith won't be proven to be genuine. But I think there's a big difference between a believer and a disciple. And now is the time to be a disciple of Christ and really find God for yourself, because you can't have we can do these broadcasts, we can stream into people's homes, but people having to dig into God for themselves, which I think ultimately can be a good thing.
Yeah. Man, that's so good. Hey, by the way, for those of you joining on, I know Pastor Matthew, you shared on your Facebook. Hey, share it. Push that share button if you can. It'll just kind of get our message out and get I think this is going to be a good conversation just for a lot of us. I think one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to you, Pastor Matthew, is every time I talk to you, I think there's something powerful about what you said. Just perspective shifts with how we see Christianity. And, we're in America. Most of us have lived in America our whole life. We've never seen the world. We don't understand Christianity from a global standpoint. And I think that's one of the greatest things, that every time I talk to you, you build my faith, but you expand my perspective. Like, it's not just American Christianity. Jesus is not just an American God. He's a worldwide, universal God, and he affects people differently. And I know we were talking even from a church size, like you have several hundred people in your church in England. That's a mega church in America because of just the post-Christian nature of your community. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? Talk us through even just that concept.
Yeah. So in England, most churches are very small. Churches would have 30, 40, 50 people. A church of 100 would be deemed quite a above average size church in England. If you got 500 people, you're a mega church in England. That's pretty much how it goes across most of Europe.
Yeah.
Because I think only 3% of Britain goes to church, which
Wow.
is quite hard to imagine when you look at our history. You look at John Wesley and the Methodist revival. You look at William Booth and the Salvation Army. You look at Smith Wigglesworth and the healing ministry that he had. You look at the Jeffries brothers and the Crusade ministry, the church planting ministry, which they have. So all these great Christian leaders. We also were a sending nation. We sent missionaries all around the world, and the gospel went to the world because of this country. And here we are now with only 3% of the country, going to church. So things are pretty tough here. But I really believe this, even now, this coronavirus, this outbreak, I really believe it's going to bring people back to God. I really do believe that. People are starting to realize how fragile life really is.
Yeah.
What amazed me, Pastor Aaron, was how in just a few days, everything came crashing down. Everything. The entertainment industry disappeared overnight. The sports industry has gone. Rock concerts and celebrity singers, they're nowhere to be seen.
Right.
The financial, the economy, so it's absolutely been crazy how the world has just came crashing down. And it shows to me that the only thing I can really build my life on is Christ, because he's the only one who hasn't changed in the last month.
Right. Yeah. Such a unique, I was talking to my counselor. He's like 80 years old. And he was saying, and I asked him, I said, hey, have you ever seen anything like this in your life? He's like, Aaron, this has never happened. He's like, this is just, we had some level of this with the Spanish flu. I know people think about it like that, but he goes, in our modern lifetime, this has never happened, where buildings have been shuttered and place. And thank God we're in a place where technology can actually get out to the world. But I think man, just the unique nature of our society right now is so hard. That's so good what you said about just, this is going to be a bit of a refining moment for casual Christians. Absolutely. You're either going to be in this or not.
Absolutely. It's going to be a time of a making or a breaking of some Christians. And hopefully, I'm already seeing leaders in my church rise up, people who would never go public about their faith. They're suddenly, having to make videos and send devotionals in or lead worship, and they're doing it online for the whole world to see.
Wow.
And it might be a bit tough, bit embarrassing for them to start with, but I think they're having to dig into their own faith.
Yeah.
And it's pushing the church out, which is that should be our goal. How many conferences, how many teaching seminars do we need? We've been through all this so many times. And
Right.
I think, we teach series after series, conference after conference, podcast after podcast. And sooner or later, the church has got to start living its message and
Wow.
preaching. And I'm believing this is going to be the time to just get
Yeah.
out there, because the whole world now, it's an awesome opportunity. I'm missing church. I'm missing my family, my spiritual family, my friends. I'm missing high-fiving the kids and shaking hands with everyone and hugging everyone. We're a close church.
Yeah.
But I'm especially see this as an opportunity for the church to get out of the four walls.
Right. Man, you guys, we just found in the news, your guys' prime minister is in, intensive care. Is that accurate? Is that right?
It's right, yeah, and he's apparently doing a little bit better today, but he's in ICU, as you would say there, and it's pretty serious. He's very, very sick, so we need to pray for our prime minister. It's already a very challenging time for him, and now he has got struck down with this virus, which shows, he's 55 years old, he's reasonably healthy, but it goes to show that this virus is no respecter of persons. It's
Right.
it's no respecter of age or status. And yeah, Boris Johnson needs the prayers of Britain tonight. But one thing that encouraged me, which I'm gonna try and show you on your screen right now, is today's newspapers in England. Newspapers which are such ungodly newspapers. They put this headline today saying this. Says he stayed at work for you. Now pray at home for him.
Wow.
So our newspapers are actually calling people to prayer today, which,
Wow.
Who would have thought that would have ever happened? So, God's going to use this. He really is.
Yeah, man, that's powerful. Man, it's amazing just to hear, again, the world is changing. I think it's going to be for the better when we get through this, and God's going to get his glory. He's going to redeem it for good, is what I always tell people. He's going to redeem it for good. I saw on a post from you recently that you were delivering pizzas in your neighborhood, in your city. And so will you tell us where that came from and why you're doing that, and, just all that story?
It's kind of funny. So I was in I'm in lockdown like everyone else, just leaving my house for essential visits. So dropping food for people, or, doing some little bit of work, or grocery shopping. And I thought to myself, how can I visit my people? How can I get out and about and visit them? I obviously can't go into homes. We literally have been banned from meeting up with our friends. So gatherings of more than two will be separated by the police. As I drove to my office today, I saw the police splitting up a group of teenagers. So this is real. So groups of more than two are banned from meeting. So, and the prime minister has literally told us, you cannot, if your friend invites you to their house, say no. So we're all in lockdown. We're all adhering to the social distancing guidelines. But then I thought, well, what can I do? We also, as our church, we run a food bank here. So we basically run the food outreach for our entire area. And it's busier than ever, Pastor Aaron. We've given out almost 1,000 meals in the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
Which in a town of our size, we're a town of 12,000 people. So we've given out 1,000 meals. That shows the needs of people out there, which we've never seen before. So our voluntary team are going crazy. They've never been so busy delivering food, shipping out food, collecting food. And I thought, what can I do to raise them some money? So I took a job as a pizza delivery driver, and I'm donating all of my wages, my tips, and my fuel to our food bank. And it's been pretty cool, man. I'm a few weeks in. The BBC did a report on it this week. They said pastor becomes pizza delivery driver. I'm doing it. It's a little bit of fun. It's raising awareness, raising funds, but it also gives me opportunity to share the gospel. So I drop pizzas at people's doors. I knock on the door. I step back. I don't handle cash. I wear gloves and things. But then I just tell them who I am. I said, look, I'm actually not a delivery driver. I'm a pastor. I'm here to tell you about Jesus. And it's just been a really cool opportunity. So it's been
any interesting stories, like anything interesting that one or two that stuck out?
So there was one. The funniest one was I got a call. I go into the shop to pick up my pizzas, and I see an address, and I realize it's my address, my house. So my wife Becky had actually ordered a pizza, so I drove to my own home and delivered my own wife a pizza, which I then had to pay for, which was kind of funny. That's the first story. Secondly, someone called the pizza shop, a friend of mine. He'd seen the news that I was working there, and he donated them some money. And he said, I want Pastor Matt to go and deliver 5 pizzas to some of the neediest people in the town. So I was able to do that. So I was able to give pizza out and just surprise people. One girl said, she just could not believe it. In fact, that week she'd been suicidal. She'd been kind of depressed. And she just said, look, you bringing this pizza to me really, really did cheer me up. So you know what? I just want to be a conduit of joy and peace and happiness. And I just want God's presence to flow through me, even if I'm doing something so menial like delivering a pizza.
Tell us about, let's stay here for just a second. So I think there's something powerful about what you just said. I think it's easy in this time, right, to just internalize. You're at home. Everything is with us. We're thinking about ourselves. I mean, by nature, we're trying to be safe, and and it just makes us so internally focused. But what you said was, man, when you started getting out and just being a light and just trying to help people, it actually helped you. Like, tell us about that. Like, can you deep dive that a little bit for us? Just what that did for you, just as a pastor,
Yeah, I think, well, we don't stop being Christians just because there's a virus,
Yeah.
It's like, lay hands on the sick and they shall recover, except if there's a virus. No, it doesn't
Right.
say that,
Right.
Going to all the world and preach the gospel unless you're on lockdown.
Yeah.
So I can't suddenly become worldly and ignore the Great Commission because there's a virus. Now, I respect the government. I'm not stupid. I'm not going around shaking hands and hugging people. You don't, you lock your house at night, right? So, even though God protects you.
Right.
So I'm not being blasé or naive, but I'm also saying to you, I'm still an evangelist. I'm still Paul says to Timothy, do the work of an evangelist.
Yeah.
That doesn't stop because we're in lockdown. In fact, lockdown has got to be an opportunity because people are trapped in their homes. You've got an opportunity to get in there, to get to them, because they've got nothing better to do.
Right.
So this is actually our greatest hour, I think, for decades. So if people from Rise Church are watching this, I want to encourage them. This is your hour to be Jesus in your community, to be the church. You might not be able to meet in a building, but the church is not closed down, man. The church is just scattered. We're all one church, many locations right now for a few weeks.
Right. Wow, man, I'm inspired. You're getting me all fired up. I want to go do something.
You love some Mexican food or something?
Yeah, do something. I'm telling you. Hey, tell me a little bit about you were talking about your food pantry, and any just unique stories that are coming out of just what you're doing. You said you've served 3,000 meals, which I wish, next time we do this, we need to get your wife on here. She's amazing. I know you're always like, she's the one. Yeah. I think she's watching right now. Miss Becky, you're on next time. All right.
Yeah, she would love to do that. I'm sure she's typing away. I'm seeing her messages coming in. So that's cool.
So tell us about that food pantry, what you guys do there just on a regular basis, and what you're doing now.
Yeah, the food bank. I also want to say hi to my friend Kimmy, who's watching from Hyderabad, India. 1 billion people in lockdown tuning in. Kimmy's watching. So hi, Kimmy. We love you guys.
Yes.
He's also an evangelist doing great things for God in Hyderabad. But yeah, so I think, we've had testimonies, just people just desperate. I mean, the thing that is the killer here, it's not necessarily the virus. That's just one thing. But for me, a greater thing is going to be loneliness.
Yeah.
People who get lonely. And imagine how lonely some people are now who don't have families or friends, or they don't, they rely on their social activity and they can't even get out of their home. So it's just killing them. It's just killing them. So I think that they are just desperate. So being able to meet people at their lowest is a real opportunity for Christ to shine through. So we're giving food out. Today we gave out 100 Easter eggs. So we went around delivering Easter eggs. My little boy got involved in that, dressing up as Angry Birds, and he was kind of delivering Easter eggs, Josiah. So yeah, it was absolutely awesome. So we got to get out there. We got to get out the church. We got to get out the walls. And now we're forced out. So everyone's got to be an evangelist now. No time to wait.
Yeah, I think, so here's a cool thing. So I'm just going to announce this to our church right now. We're going to post about this later, but over the next 24 hours, we're going to take in as much money in our missions account. So if you go to risechurchtx.com, And if you give, put in the missions, we have like a drop down for missions, whatever comes into our missions for the next 24 hours, we're going to send half to you guys and put half in our food bank here. And so we're going to send you guys a check. On top of that, we'll give money to it, but we're just going to do the best we can to get people to be generous right now. And because we really believe that, I think it's going to be hard for us to not think about ourselves in this moment, but there's something powerful that when you're generous, when you give, when you help someone in need while you're in need, it'll actually help you. And I think you're modeling that for us, Pastor Matthew, just what you're doing. And so we're gonna send something. So just next 24 hours right now, just you go to righteousTX.com. If you give in our missions account, whatever give, we're just gonna send it to you guys, and then we'll send a check on top of that just because we love you.
That's okay. You guys are, we love partnering with you. And ever since we first met, you've stuck to your word. You said, man, we're going to stand with you guys. And even when you were planting a church, church planters had no money. And you were like, man, we just want to give. And I remember you gave, and it so blessed me that your church was so generous. Even, I think was it like your first Sunday or something you gave? You wanted to give your first offering away or part of it. And I just thought, man, God is going to bless that church and that pastor, because at a time when you need the money the most, you're still giving. Even now, I'm sure, a lot of pastors are struggling now because their offerings are low, and yet you're still thinking about the world. And I just want to honor you and thank you, because that is such an amazing attitude.
Man, we really believe it. Generosity is one of our values, and I just think you just really hit a good point. I think it's, you either are a Christian or you're not. You either believe this thing or you're not. And some of the stuff we're going through right now, this is going to show. I mean, it's just going to show. You're right. This is not the time to back up. This is the time to step up. And I think you guys always inspire me and just inspire what we're doing over here. And I want you to know we'll get through this virus. And when that happens, we're excited to have you come. Can you tell us a little bit about One by One and just maybe just give us some insight to, what your guys' vision is? Because I know you do One by One, but then you're also the Dignity Project. I know y'all do stuff with them. That's what you guys started, the Dignity Project too, right?
Yeah. So One by One has 4 strands. Okay. The first one is we take care of orphans in Kenya. So that started in 2011. And then we opened it in 2012. So we have over 100 children in our children's home in Kenya from horrific backgrounds, poverty, starvation, abuse. Some of them, witnessed their own parents get murdered. I mean, horrific stories. And my wife primarily has rescued them and just seen God transform them into incredible young men and women. Secondly, we work with child slaves in Pakistan. So we actually go into brick kilns where children are forced to work, and we pull the children out of the factories and we give them some hope. We built a home, and I think you guys have partnered with us on that one specifically. And we've brought, I think, over 50 kids now out of, I was there just a couple of months ago, and I met a young girl, and she was literally found living in a public toilet. And we were able to help her, and, we now take care of her and contribute towards her costs. So this is the kind of case we're coming across. So that's number 2. Thirdly, we take care of widows. The book of James tells us to take care of the widows in their time of distress, orphans and widows. Yeah. And then that's what he says that pure and undefiled religion looks like. And then the 4th thing we do is called the Dignity Project, where we help girls at risk of human trafficking. And we go into their world and we basically just bless them with practical support, hygiene products, reusable sanitary items, and then we share the gospel of Jesus Christ with them. So that's the 4 things we do. It's pretty crazy. We also take mission trips. We do about 10 mission trips a year, although for the next few months they're postponed. And hopefully one day we'll take a Rise Church Texas team. Come on. Somewhere in the world. I'm sure we will.
Yeah, what you guys are doing, we've been a partner again from the beginning of our church, and we're planning on increasing our partnership. We believe in you guys so much, and I think one of the greatest things that the local church can do is partner with ministries that are really on the ground, being the hands and feet of Jesus on the front lines. And I just, on behalf of our church and just our family, we want to say thank you. Thank you for having a vision for that. Thank you for sacrifice. We know that kind of stuff doesn't come without sacrifice. You and your family and your son, and there's a lot of sacrifice that goes in behind the scenes. Man, and on top of that, y'all are pastors at a church. I don't know why y'all get the time. I'm barely a pastor. I'm like, I don't know how I can do this. And it's just so much to do.
I can deliver pizzas as well, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm telling you, I might start doing that. I'll deliver tacos. So
yeah, come on.
But how is the COVID-19 affected one by one right now? Is there, what are you guys feeling and hearing from around the world?
We've had sponsors withdraw their support due to losing their jobs or due to financial panic. So we've lost some income in the last month. We've also on the field, we've had to close down our schools in Kenya and Pakistan. We've had to cancel all our mission trips for the next few months. And in Kenya, food prices are starting to soar. And that's causing a lot of panic for the long-term future of the economy there. So we just really need God to move this thing, and just to bring us into a new season, because it's starting to really affect our children. And they're scared, that they've not seen us for a while now. So Becky was supposed to be there today and she had to cancel her trip. So we really need God now to move this thing on. And hopefully that day is coming. I really believe that.
What would you say is the biggest need right now that people can do around the world? Is it just a financial donation?
We want people to support in prayer, in finance, whatever they can. I'm not a big, I don't do big financial appeals. I just tell people what's going on and let them decide if they want to get involved. But that people can visit onebyone.net and then they can see what's going on. And then if they want to donate, then God bless them. If not, please pray for us.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the comments below, and that way people want to get there quicker. And we're pledging today. We're going to help and send out, and we want to be a blessing to you guys, and just again so thankful that what you guys are doing down there. The schools had to close though, huh? You guys had to close down schools. Is that right?
Yeah, everything's shut down because Kenya's on a 21-day lockdown, India's on a 21-day lockdown. Pakistan's on a lockdown till next week. So I think April's pretty much a wipeout for most of the world right now. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah. What a wild thing to think about. What's your church, as you've been able to connect with your members and what is your story that you're telling them right now? How are you leading them? What are you learning yourself as a leader, just as a pastor in this season?
I'm being humbled by how amazing our church is right now. I mean, they're giving, they're serving, they're volunteering, they're putting their lives at risk to serve the poor, to give food. And I just think it's such a humbling time to be a pastor. It's a very stressful time. My phone does not stop all day, all night. I got one person in hospital right now. One person just came out of hospital. We've had 2 coronavirus cases in our church, possibly a third. Other people have got issues and symptoms, but they're choosing to self-isolate at home. So this thing's ripping through our communities. We had 900 deaths today in the UK. It's our largest toll of deaths in one day. So it's really a tough time. But I'm just seeing people's faith around. I'm so proud of our church. I can't wait to meet again. We're going to have the biggest party you can imagine when this thing's over, because we just want to celebrate, But it's tough. But you know what? Faith is tested during tough times. And I'm seeing, someone said once, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And I'm seeing some tough people rise up right now.
Yeah.
And we're going to see in the next few months what God's really up to here.
Yeah. Man, that's powerful. Hey, by the way, for those of you who are listening, man, you can put your questions. If you have a question for Pastor Matthew and One by One, and the Dignity Project and what they do. And I don't know if you're, if he doesn't know, his wife knows, so she can probably put it in the comments. I don't know if she's there or whatnot, but if you have a question, we'll go ahead and answer any of them that you put in there and walk it out. I was noticing your wife, she was on the comments and she's been amening you. Yeah, man, she's amazing. That's awesome.
Jason put the One by One link on there. Thank you. Nick Carroll's watching. Hey, Nick, nice to hear from you.
Come on, shout out.
Yeah, there's lots of people. Kathleen's watching. Shannon's watching. Benjamin's watching. Benjamin says, is there something you plan to do when the lockdown is lifted to re-engage, or has COVID going to change your strategy? That's a good question, right?
Yeah. That's for you, Pastor Matthew. Go ahead.
You're out, okay, I was going to let you answer that one. But yeah, I think church will never return to full normality.
Yeah.
I think that this online church situation is going to really become a thing which we do. I don't think it's going to replace physical church, but I think it will become an incredible alternative for people.
Yeah.
And why shouldn't it be? Everyone else is online. You can watch a soccer game online, or
Right.
an NFL game online, or you can go to watch a concert online. So why shouldn't you be able to engage with church? Now, I know we all do live streaming, but we kind of don't do it very well.
Right.
Honestly. And I think we're going to have to up our game and make it a little bit more interactive.
Yeah.
That it's evangelism. I think online church is evangelism, because I heard one guy compare it to online dating, and right now it's kind of like, if you want to get the girl to the bar, you might have to do a bit of online dating first.
Right.
And people might not necessarily come to church straight away, but they might kind of chat to you online for a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you build up that relationship online, you build it to a certain level of confidence where you can say, hey, do you want to go on a date next week?
Yeah.
And I think we got to get people to the place where they feel comfortable with church, and it's not going to freak them out, man. Walking straight in, everyone's got their hands in the air singing hallelujah.
Right.
But maybe if they watch it online for a few weeks, it'll become a little bit more normal to them.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's really challenged our staff. I'll say this, we felt like, I think, I was blessed to plant a church with some incredible people. Pastor Jason, I think you met him at one of our conferences. Just Tabby and her husband. I mean, we started church with some good people who know how to do church. And then what's funny is we had a year into it, and then it's like church just changed. And so we were doing, like, you're right, we were doing live stream, but there was just some things that we were okay with because we always had the physical service. And it's caused our church just globally to just, like, even our staff, everything has just been, we've been focused on just, okay, now what do we do? If this is the only medium, how do we interact? And so our strategy really has been, and this isn't by any means my idea, this has been our staff strategy, but it's been, let's just be about the other 6 days, not just the one day. Be about the other 100 and some hours than just the 1 hour, because people might give us an hour of their week before, but now there's nothing else for them. They're no, what else are we doing? We're kind of home, we're online, we're on Facebook. But the issue is what can we do? So we've been thinking, so here's our strategy. It's been just content. Can we deliver different kinds of content? So, like, this is a content piece. This is different. This is not teaching. This is not preaching, but you're going to get maybe a leadership nugget and leadership thought, do some Q&A and try to get, different thoughts. We have a Q&A. We do a Facebook Live with me and my wife on Monday nights, and we just talk marriage and family. And so, we got 5 kids.
I know you do.
Things. Yeah. We've learned a few things from our pastors and our counselors and our leaders, and we just try to pass on information. That's content. We try to stay on, have decent, relevant posts, make sure we update our church and keep everybody safe. And I think that's been something that I think once this, even when the COVID thing goes away, or at least dies down to the point where it's manageable, even when we open up our doors again, this is going to be the new reality. There's going to be a lot that we carry over.
I believe
from this time, which I think is a good thing. But, I'm hearing churches, I don't know if you're hearing this from different churches, but I'm hearing churches reaching people. We're reaching people we never would have reached before. We're meeting people they never would have walked in our building, but they're looking at our online services. And because people are looking for hope, like you said, right? They're looking for something to connect with, that everything that they connected to before is being challenged or is gone. And now they're looking for something like they need some real genuine hope, and realizing maybe. So I think, again, this is a shock to the system in our society that I think God is going to use, but I think we're going to carry so many things over that I think is going to make our church better. I think this is making our church better.
And I think there's going to be a new normal. And I think, we've realized we can do so much online.
Yeah.
Look at this, man, we're having a conversation. Why don't we do this every month, man? Why don't we why aren't we talking more regularly like this? And blessing, it's free. It doesn't cost anything for you, for me, for people to watch in.
Yeah.
This, why can't Pastor's Corner become something you do? Why are we just doing this stuff because there's a virus outbreak?
Right.
Some of this stuff is going to be ministry opportunities for the rest of our lives, man.
Right. Yeah, it's been a unique thing, and so I just want to wrap it up today and just ask you and your family, one, I want to ask one question. How are you personally doing, you and your family? What can we be praying for? What could we do to just be there for you and the Murray family?
Yeah, so I've kind of shocked some people with this because and this shouldn't be surprising, but I've been so honest about my battles during this time. I've had moments of just extreme panic and fear come over me. I'm a strong, courageous, healthy guy. I go to Pakistan and preach the gospel. I go to India and I go all over the world. But this thing has gripped me with fear, which I don't think I've ever had in my life. Locking me down is not a good thing. I like to be out and about, moving around like you do, Pastor Aaron.
Yeah.
So I've had real difficult times. And I've just had to really dig into my own walk with God, like I guess everyone else has had to do. And it's shown me how fragile life is, how, it's kind of soft and fragile. Yeah, life can be. So I've dug deep, and as a family, we've dug deep, and we're having tough days. Becky's been really missing Kenya. She was supposed to be there this week with our children, so that's been tough for her. But you know what? God sustains us. It's good time for us to spend as a family. It's good time for us as a church to just be the church, not just have church. So I think I would just ask people to pray for all our children around the world, and that God would just continue to move in power.
Yeah. Man, that's so good. Hey, real quick, before we wrap up, I know you guys are on television in the UK. Tell us a little bit about that, how that came about, and what you guys do in your television programs. Because can we get that here?
We kind of do this at Pastor Aaron. We just chat to people. We chat and have great conversations with people all about what's going on in their world. And we air on mainly TBN UK, which is an incredible platform and a huge audience. So yeah, my wife does a show, and I also do a show with her, and we spoke on there last week. So it's a massive audience, especially in London. A lot of people in London like to choose Christian TV, and at this time, of course, Christian TV is very important because it's all we have. We don't have church, so it's been very important, and we've reached a lot of people through television. So I thank God for that.
Man, that's amazing. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up here, and if there's any other questions, I'm trying to see real quick before we do it. Let's see. Do you have concerns for reaching and keeping contact with members of the church who I'm assuming, do not have Facebook or are not very technical?
Yeah, so we got an all-age congregation. So what I've been doing is every week we've been going through a list of all the elderly people. We have like 70, 80-year-olds in our church, 90-year-olds. And we've been calling them every week, making sure they're okay, delivering them food, praying over the phone with them. So we've just been creative, and just, we're not going to stop reaching people, building lives is like you guys. It's our theme. It's our mantra. Yeah. No virus can stop that. Right. So yeah, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, man. And I can't wait to get to San Antonio and be with Rise Church and see you guys and keep following your journey, because you guys are smashing it, and I'm proud to be your friend, man. You're awesome.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. No, I think that's a great answer to that. We do the same thing. We've been reaching out we call our members regularly just to make sure that they're good, especially, some of our elderly, just trying to make sure that if there's anything we need to help them with, we're there. And so I think right now that's the best thing we could do. That is the tension of everything, is just do the best we can to get connected as best we can. So I want to pray for you, if that's okay, as we wrap up. And just pray for you and your wife. And man, let's do this again. Absolutely. We'll have you back on Pastor's Corner, if that's cool. So Father, we just thank you, God, for Pastor Matthew and Becky Murray. God, we thank you. What they're doing in the world is so unique, but it's really what you modeled for us. You modeled what it was like to serve people. God, I thank you for their church. I pray that this would not be this would be the defining moment, God, for that church and for all the people that are in England right now and have the opportunity to live through this virus moment, this pandemic. God, we are going to come out of this stronger. You're going to do something to redeem it. And I pray that you would continue to move inside of their church. I pray that you would bless the One by One ministry organization and all 4 streams of really missions that they're doing. God, what an incredible heart you've placed inside the Murray family. I pray protection over them, blessing over them. God, we pray that you would continue to just make a way where there is no way in this season. God, that you would give them strength when they feel weak. You would give them wisdom when they don't know what to do. You give them courage when they're afraid. In every aspect that they put their hand to, may it be blessed in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And Pastor Aaron, it's so good to talk to you.
Yep. Awesome, man. I was great meeting with you again. And I love you. We're going to have you come. It's just a matter of when.
I'm coming,
And
man.
we'll make it happen. We'll get your wife on next time. All right, Miss
Yeah,
Becky, we're going to have you on.
She's already said yes, so come on.
All right. Well, we love you, brother. I'll see you later.
Take care, man. See you soon.
God bless.